come to realize that I haven't really been doing as much recording these days, but there's been a good reason. I created such a backlog of videos over my summer vacation especially that it was taking some time to get them all edited, especially since I was sticking to my rule of doing one video per week. So it means that as I'm recording this, it's now mid-October or approaching late October, and yet it's probably going to be landing in December at this rate. Not much you can really do about it, except for saying, welcome to another edition of the Wananyuki Cheese Cafe. So right now it's a nice Saturday, and I feel like we're at the point where it's Indian summer, because despite the fact that it is October 19th, I believe, it's warm, it's like 17 degrees or so, so it's almost like we're getting the last gasp of summer weather or heat wave before winter really starts to hit us. Of course, winter warmth, it never stops me from doing a wander around the city, so I'm still going to take advantage anytime. And I do have a little route in mind. I'm thinking that I'm going to head up around Côte-des-Neiges Road from downtown and then see where I go from there. It's an area I've done some walks before, but I thought, let's document that for the first time. Funny, life-size Vegeta and Goku from Dragon Ball, like, it's kind of cool to see that over here, but if you're able to buy that, I would wonder, where would you store it and who would have any use for it? I don't know, just me thinking out loud, capturing some funny stuff around the city as usual. And just thinking back to when I said I'm going on Côte-des-Neiges Road, if that does sound familiar to you, I did do a video a little while back when I was visiting Côte-des-Neiges and eventually making my way to the Orange Julep stand. If you want to see that episode again, then I'm going to put a card in the top right corner for you to watch it. Anyways, on that note, here's my other suggestion as I continue the walk. Hit that subscribe button below and put your notification bell on. That way, if there's a new video to view, you're going to get a pop-up on your phone. And by the way, just like this video. Don't even finish it if you don't want to, just like it at least. Wait, keep watching, what am I saying? Looking at that Trois Brasseurs, and if memory serves me, that used to be a Burger King when I was a kid. So it means that I probably was coming close to Crescent Street when we were walking downtown and probably didn't even think about it at the time. Which makes me think, yep, I am on Crescent. This street used to be one of my major areas to go to if ever wanted to stop off and grab a pint for myself after work or just in general. But I feel like these days I rarely come around this neck of the woods, even on a Friday when I'm around the office. And that's because I have some of my other regulars like Grumpy's, I got McKibben's. McKibben's, that's actually a good one. There's a link on the top right corner you can click on, and that's me highlighting it with two of my best friends and recapping some of our stories. But yeah, there's a few areas I like to hit up downtown, but otherwise, I'm always exploring other areas of the city that I never always think to come back downtown. And I'm sure if I was to do that, then there is a treasure trove of place I could look around at. Just a question of which ones I could highlight, or I guess revisit. Oh, right. How could it be worse? Thursdays, which got converted to a Jack Saloon. I came here once around F1 weekend, but truth be told, I feel like that the vibe was just not for me. It was like loud, the beer was okay, but I feel like the vibe was a little bit douchey, so it's probably a one and done for me, unless special circumstances arrive. Thoughts occurring to me is it's still mid-afternoon and I haven't even had my iced coffee or Americano yet. And considering that I've seen on my Instagram feed a lot of cafes that seem to be around Sherbrooke Street, like where I'm going to be approaching very soon, it might be a good chance to just highlight one of them or at least find something brand new. Now, where am I going to find that? I guess while I'm thinking about it, let's cue a montage. Paradise by the dashboard light.
Well, I remember every little thing as if it happened
I realized I forgot to get some milk in this thing, but it is what it is, and it's still refreshing. And because there's ice cubes in it, that means it's going to be watered down eventually. So Cafe Aunja, at least I hope that's how it's pronounced, that's like somewhere on Sherbrooke, very close to Concordia. And I've seen that on my Instagram feed for a few times and thought, let's finally give it a shot, because I am going to be heading around here I'm going to be heading around Côte-des-Neiges, and this was a hop and a skip away. It looks like a Persian cafe that they advertise themselves as a breakfast and tea house, and it was something called a Persian fog, which I don't know what kind of tea that is, but I am kind of curious. So maybe one day if I want to do something that's not a cup of coffee, I'll go back there, ask for the Persian fog, and then give my feedback. But until then, this will get the job done and energize me as I make my way to Côte-des-Neiges, and most likely going to be walking uphill and getting quite a bit of exercise. I had trouble aiming for the straw. I'm just looking back over here at this thing that says Edifice Medical Arts, and this was a walk-in clinic that I remember from a while back, because I am thinking of a funny story where I was working at the old store and the cabinet had fallen apart and the door had just fallen and slapped me on the face, not on the face, like fell on top of my head. I remember I was coming over here to get myself checked out. The ironic thing about that was I was the first aid I was like a certified first aid guy in the store, yet here I am being the one injured. Like, what the hell do I do? Kind of crazy how that works. But, you know, my old boss at the time was saying chicks dig scars, which I guess it shows you what he was thinking at the time. But all that to say is that this is the corner of Guy Street and Sherbrooke Street West. But if I was to go north along Sherbrooke over here, then this is actually where Côte-des-Neiges Road begins. So this is actually the dividing point between the two streets. Almost like, I guess when you think about it, how if you go along Saint Laurent Boulevard, that's the dividing point between Van Horn Avenue and Holzboom Boulevard. So something very similar. And from what I can see, it's uphill, not too steep of a climb, but probably going to be enough that I'll be able to work up a sweat. What the? You've got to be kidding me. I'm kind of amused by the name of the store. Marché chez Bro. Like, is this something that's run by a couple of dude bros? Or does the guy have a tendency of saying bro all the time or ending all of his sentences like, bro, I am walking up Côte-des-Neiges Road, bro. It's going to be quite the exercise, bro. Bro, I'm serious, yo. Bro. I think only wrestling fans are going to get what the hell I'm talking about. Other people, they'll just think I'm on crack. I'm not on crack. I'm just on caffeine. So I'm crossing now on Dr. Penfield Avenue, and I feel like if I was to be going to my right, I will continue and eventually reach McGill and in some parts the foot of Mont-Royal. But if I was also to get to the other side, then eventually I would hit up around Westmount with some of the fancier homes. I feel like I've done some of those walks from like Westmount until getting to Côte-des-Neiges, and then eventually going up into the borough. But Westmount I did cover a while back. That was, hang on, I need to catch my breath. You gotta remember that if I'm talking and walking, that does take a lot of energy. But yeah, if I'm gonna think back, that's what I did around Good Friday, an episode around Westmount to start off with, eventually going into NDG, Notre Dame de Grâce, and to Monkland Avenue. If you wanna see that episode, I do have a card in the top right corner. Pine Avenue. That would be at the very foot of Mount Royal.
I'm not hiding.
Oh boy, I feel like I'm getting to level ground now because it's no longer uphill. Or if it is, it's a very, it's not so steep. But I have to switch places because there is some construction happening on the sidewalk on the other side. It's another case of there's always something under construction in this city. Ah well, what can you do? All I can say is I'm looking around my surroundings, and besides some apartment buildings, there seems to be some nice, large, spacious, and probably fancy houses. I think I'm still in the Côte-des-Neiges area, or maybe borderline west. No, I'm not in Westmount, because then I'd be able to tell by the street signs. But still, some of these look like they're really out of my price range. Not to mention, if I was to get one of these houses, I'd have to ask, how much cleaning would I have to do? Still not as big as some of the ones I saw in Chemin de la Côte Sainte-Catherine, where those have the garage at the bottom, and you got to go up a high set of stairs just to get to the actual house. I did cover that a little bit. Oh yeah, it was last year when I was going through Outremont to get to Lester's Deli. I'll put a card in the top right corner for you to see that one again. And it looks like I'm going to have to change spots again. Bloody hell. More sidewalks under construction. That gives me a little bit of closure from one of my last episodes in Côte-des-Neiges. So I don't know if it was easy to see on camera, but that tower up ahead is one of the pavilions of l'Université de Montréal, or the University of Montreal. I wanted to show that off when I was going along the road over here the last time, but I wasn't able to get a full view. So now I can show it off. So say I've been around there, but I'm sure eventually I could go around there one day and see if there's anything worth highlighting. For now, I'm gonna make my way across the street again and maybe pay a visit into Mont-Royal Park for a personal reason. So we'll be right back.
They say that heaven is 10 zillion light years away, and just the pure at heart will walk her righteous street someday. Say that heaven is.
Well, that is that. Yeah, the reason I came up here was also because I wanted to pay respect to some family who's laid to rest up in the cemetery, and didn't want to show up that kind of intimacy or whatever, because, that's something I wanted to keep to myself. But it was a nice walk, and I got to do one last visit before winter does come up here. And what I think I'm going to do is, well, I was thinking of a spot or two to hit up for supper and a drink around Côte-des-Neiges. The truth is, there's only like maybe 2 of them that I know of. And compared to the Plateau, where there's going to be no shortage of them, I thought, let's go down there instead and see if I could try something a little bit different that I haven't showcased yet. Or maybe go for a classic. I don't know. I'll wait and see. Going up there is kind of like expecting to see Robert De Niro up here. And I don't even know what that means. Like, come to think of it, what the heck would Robert De Niro be hanging around Côte-des-Neiges for? I guess I walked into that musical montage. Good song, nice discovery from the summer, so let's hit it. Yeah, I changed the location because originally I was on a terrace since it was still open, but I decided to come to one of the bar counters that's right by the window of this place because I figured it's still better than nothing, because I am technically outdoors and able to have a beer on the terrace while it's still open. So this spot here is a place I've walked by a number of times whenever I went along Mont-Royal Avenue. It's a bar that's called MR250, and if you're wondering why they named it that, 250 is the address over here, so it's 250 Mont-Royal Avenue East. And And I guess I was subconscious, maybe they were thinking about the name of the metro, because when you're thinking about the Montreal subway systems, there were two model cars that existed back in the day. There was MR63, which was the original model that was built, and then there was the MR73s that were also built later on. It's a different model that they did when they expanded the lines around here, just in time for the 1976 Olympics. That one, if you've been around for a while, you know it starts off like it takes off with a musical tune, and yeah, you probably have a mental image of that if you're around my age. But I guess that's kind of what they were going for over here. I've looked at the bars, and actually, this makes me think of something else. Corner of Mont-Royal Avenue and Laval Avenue here is where it's located. And Laval Avenue is significant because this is when I learned over a year ago that my grandparents were living further south along Laval Avenue, like way back. Thinking it's like somewhere in the mid-1970s before they moved to St. Leonard. That's my point of reference, and just thought kind of nice. Neighborhood's probably changed since they had grown up around here, but still pretty lively. But the other thing is they have some really good beers. They got like the New England IPA that I love so much, but because I wanted to be simple today, I went for a classic Carlsberg. This is like the blonde for Denmark, just like how Heineken is for Holland. And when you come here before 8 o'clock, pints are $7 Canadian, which in 2024, it's really hard to find those kind of prices. But sometimes you want to have some good savings when you're having a brew. And it's a nice one. It's a light 5%er, so pretty nice, easy to down. And I'll see where I go from here, if I stick around for another brew or if I decide to go elsewhere, because I am thinking of what I'm going to have for supper. I'm thinking something Asian tonight. It's just a question of which restaurant do I do. As I expected, this was a one and done brew, because I thought if I want to have anything else, there's a spot or two I want to show off around here yet again. I guess there's one spot in particular I wanted to go back to, but first I need to think of the nourishment situation. Kind of thinking I want some Asian noodles right now. Just a question of trying to find a spot for that, and maybe thinking of a good song along the way. What can I do? After walking around a little bit after doing the pint over at MR250, I thought I'd come to the Mekong and do a little dinner over here. It's another one of those restaurants I would pass by a few times on my walks, and something about this just calling my name. Probably what caught my eye was that right below the sign, they had a giant Heineken logo on it, so I thought, okay, at least they got a good draft beer. That's a no-brainer for me. But it seemed like they have some like Asian beers that you get bottled, and maybe a few things that are drafted. The Heineken was kind of tempting, but because I was kind of craving an IPA, I thought there is one pretty special one I wanted to get on camera, the Moosehead Hazy IPA, which if you remember my past videos, I did showcase that during the McKibbins episode with my boys, because what we ended up doing afterwards, we went to the N bar that was a block away, we got a pint of this this hazy Moose ale, and thought, it's not very often I see this. Like, as far as I can tell, all the restaurants and bars I've been to, this is only the second spot that has it. I'm sure if I was to dig deeper around here, there's a few more that would have it, but, you know, until then, this is going to suffice while I'm waiting for the food. Excellent. So it tastes like a New England IPA. It's got a hazy texture, but the beauty of this also is that, you know, it's less than 6%, so it's actually a bit lighter than your typical New England IPAs, because most of them are going to be 6% and upwards, and you don't always want strength. Sometimes you want the taste without, you know, going to strong fucker territory.
Life begins at the heart, boys and girls.
Admittedly, when I wanted to get some kind of Asian food tonight for supper, I did want to get some kind of noodle dish because I've had some rice earlier in the week and also for lunch today, and just wanted to try something brand new. And one thing that kind of caught my eye was the pad siu that's on the menu over here, because when I think pad something, I always think pad thai, which is like, you know, vermicelli rice noodles with a certain kind of sauce with shrimp or beef, or depending on how you go. That's how they do it. But it looks like what they do here for pad siu is, instead of vermicelli rice noodles, they do like larger vermicelli noodles. I got mine with shrimp, only because I've had the chicken yesterday when I was at the McKibben's, and also I plan to do some chicken when I'm doing my grilling for Halloween. Hint, hint, brand new episode coming up. But there's other subtle differences too. Like, if I was to look at a pad siu, they use soy sauce and broccoli, whereas with pad thai they use like a tamarind sauce. I've done pad thai before at home, so it's essentially like soy sauce, oyster sauce, sriracha, lime juice, and a bit of brown sugar. So when you have those essentials, you basically can do your own pad thai. But if you're curious how to do that, I do have a video on it, and I'm going to put a card in the top right corner for you to watch it. Now, I've talked enough, so the big test is, how's this going to taste? It's very tasty. And they topped up with some sesame seeds here too. But let's look at the pad thai. Okay, they would top it with lime and peanuts. So there are some subtle differences, but there's a few things that kind of there's some consistency between the two of them. Oh. Shrimp still has a shell on it on the tail, but it's not a big deal because depending on where you go or who you talk to, some people are still going to be eating the shrimp tails no matter what, so it's all relative. I personally don't really eat them, but I can work around it, so it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. Okay, note to self, when you're recording a video, make sure you have your microphone on your coat, not in your pants pocket, because that's kind of embarrassing. But anyways, it was a good meal that I had over here. And one thing I actually forgot to point out is that pad siu made me think of pad thai also because of one of my friends, Canadian Dave, in the comments section, because we used to go to this place called Beijing Express that was close to our offices, like, I would say 15 years ago. Like, we were both working the 9-to-5 job. Like, it always feels like an eternity ago. We'd always meet up on Fridays to go get some pad thai, or in his case, General Tao. So it kind of made me think back to those days. I still love pad thai, but pad siu was something very different. Still, it was good stuff. And while I did say I wanted to do another round somewhere else, the truth is, after those 2 beers, I thought this is actually a good amount to call the night before getting too out of hand. Had a good walk, showed off a new place, got to pay some respect to family, went to a new bar, showed off a new restaurant. What more can you do? So what I think I'm going to do now is I'm just going to finish off my walk, maybe go down Saint Laurent Boulevard, and if I feel like I really want to, I'll just find a place to go grab a coffee, maybe an espresso. I don't feel like I need a coffee, but hey, just something I have on the road. If I do that, we'll see. But if not, it's all good as well. So, thanks for watching this latest edition of the Wanayuki Cheese Cafe. And if you like what you see, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoy my wanders, the montages, the stories, and everything that comes with it. And if you have any ideas for future episodes, leave them in the comments. I'll see what I could do. Till then, take care, see you next time, and happy travels. Oh, Saint Sacrement. Remember I highlighted this almost a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. Good spot, and great brews also. But that's it for tonight.